So we're going to do the breads, cereals, starch products that are usually found with breakfasts. Here is your vocabulary. There is a link to the vocabulary slides specifically. Quite a bit of this vocabulary is going to be in your quiz. We will do a little review. We'll have a Quizlet or Kahoot. So potatoes are very common. There are different types of potatoes and how you cook them. Cottage fries are sliced potatoes, usually pretty thick, about ½ inch thick. Home fries are different because they are cooked a little bit more and they are cut up a little bit more. So with home fries, they might be sliced, but they're usually not quite as thick as cottage fries, or home fries might be diced. And you'll find home fries a lot when it comes to doing a hash or a skillet, which is a meat and potato blend. Hash browns are shredded potatoes, and these sometimes have onions or seasonings. They can be cooked scattered, which you just kind of like spread them out and cook them, and then serve them in a pile. They could also be formed into a patty and then deep fried. Think what you get with the McDonald's breakfast, or you might have hash browns actually blended with cheese and sour cream and creamy things to create more of like a hash brown casserole. Quick breads. When we talk about quick breads, we are talking about breads that use a chemical leavener. So this would be baking soda or baking powder, and you can mix them and cook them. So a biscuit is a quick bread, a muffin is a quick bread, French toast is not really a quick bread, so that is usually bread that has been cooked off. It's a little bit stale, and you dip it into a custard. So the custard is your egg and milk variety, and you can bake that or fry that. Waffles and crepes are also quick breads. They are made and then cooked off. There is some variation in that. So the difference between a pancake and a crepe: a pancake is a medium weight batter and it is cooked on a griddle, and it's a little fluffier and it's not really foldable. A crepe, on the other hand, has more eggs and it is a much thinner batter. You typically kind of need a special pan to cook them, or a nonstick pan. You also use this little like crepe spatula to spread the batter around. Crepes are foldable because of that egg content, and they usually have some kind of sweet or savory filling inside of them. So that's your big difference between pancakes and crepes. Batters are similar. The pancake to waffle batter is also very similar, and then waffles are cooked on a waffle iron, which kind of fries the outside a little bit more, and you have a crispy outside and a chewy inside. Belgian waffles, on the other hand, are not a quick bread. They are made with yeast, and they are a much thicker, kind of different, chewier content to them. So if you're ordering a real Belgian waffle, sometimes people will put regular waffle batter on a thicker iron and call it a Belgian waffle, but a real Belgian waffle has yeast in it, and it's a whole different product. Again, French toast, that is dipped in the egg and the milk, and then that is cooked on a griddle or a pan, or you can actually bake French toast. So another pastry that's really common for breakfast items is what's referred to as a laminated dough. So croissants are made out of a laminated dough. Danishes are also made out of a laminated dough. If you have any experience with puff pastry or phyllo dough, these are also kind of the same thing. So these make a super flaky, super flaky. And essentially you get that by making a dough, rolling it out, putting butter, a whole layer of butter, and then you fold it over, and then another layer of butter, and then you fold it, and you fold it, and then you like roll it down. And essentially you get these like layers of butter that are pressed between the dough, and when it cooks, it like these layers of butter like melt out, and they fry the dough around it, and they make this super crispy, super flaky product. That's how you get a croissant. My favorite of all of the pastry. I like flaky, not overly sweet, super buttery pastries. So there's also different cereals that are included. So when you think of cereal, you think of what you put in a bowl and put milk on, but cereals include any grain product. So they can be hot cereals like grits or cream of wheat. You could also get oatmeal, that is a hot cereal. Cold cereals or granola is really common. So granola is a blend of grains, nuts, and dried fruits. And some people put milk on it and some people don't. Some people put it with yogurt, is really common. But there is no like set recipe for granola. You can kind of mix and blend a whole bunch of things. We can make our own homemade granola too if you want to when we get into our service in the spring. So grits, a lot of my students are unfamiliar with. These are made from hominy. This is a corn product. And it's a real fine grain one. A lot of times in the South, we serve them with butter or sugar, which is really common. They can be cheesy as well. So cheese grits are common on a Southern menu, and that's usually served as a side item with a savory meal. But in the morning with breakfast, we usually do butter and sugar on them. Some other things you can have here are, like I said, oatmeals. Farina or cornmeal is also kind of common with your grain products. So just quick review: pastries, donuts. I didn't cover donuts. Donuts are not a quick bread. They are a yeast dough, and they are risen, and then they are deep fried. You can have cake donuts, and cake donuts are different, but regular traditional donuts are, you make that dough, you rise it like you're making pizza crust or bread or the pretzels or something, and then you cut them into circles with holes, and then you deep fry them. And then bagels. So if you have made the soft pretzels with us in lab, the bagel recipe is also really similar. So that is a yeast dough, and then you make that and you actually drop that down and boil that for just a short period of time with the baking soda to change the pH, and that yields this like super crisp kind of brown crust, but it's very, very chewy. So if you have never made homemade bagels, they're really easy to make, and we've done them in the lab. So when it comes to breakfast meats, here again is some of your vocabulary. Now, when you get into the albumin all the way down to this other vocabulary, that is part 2 of the breakfast unit. So part 1, we're just going to cover the pastries and the meats. And then when we come back, we'll cover the egg stuff. So breakfast meats or proteins, we'll do a